there's this unfair, ridiculous charge by some in the present ruling dispensation that he tried to groom his daughter as a successor. On the contrary, at no stage did he indicate a preference for any successor. And what is more, when she was a very highly effective president of the Congress Party, as with other presidents at that time, he gave her the 1 year and that was it. She was replaced and that was it. It was her turn, she was on. He was very clear about all of these things. And I think when you look back on the extraordinary contribution he made to building up the kind of respect for democracy that we have now taken for granted, I think one of the absolute evidences for his success was that upon his death, when American journalist Wallace Hangen had even published a book saying, after Nehru, who? And the diplomatic corps was busy asking, after Nehru, what? When Nehruji died, the nation wept, but there were no political or constitutional convulsions. An acting prime minister was appointed, a Congress party then elected a new prime minister, the nation went on, and that's exactly what Nehruji would have wanted, because he was asked by an American editor, Norman Cousins, of the Saturday Evening Post, what do you want to be your legacy to India? And he said, 330 million people capable of governing themselves. That was an extraordinary line, which I found in this magazine and used in the book, because although the numbers have grown, that really was, I think, his most significant legacy. Our democracy exists because of Jawaharlal Nehru shaping it, making it possible. During those 17 years, a number of post-colonial heroes in other ex-colonies had gone the opposite way. From Nkrumah to Kaunda to Nyerere, they started off as democratically popular heroes and headed in an authoritarian direction, saying that you needed authoritarianism in order to keep the country under control, to keep it together, to prevent divisions, and to direct development. Nehruji never fell into that trap. So if today we have a Chaiwala as Prime Minister, it's because Nehruji made it possible to create the institutional structures through which any Indian can aspire to and rise to the highest office in the land. I'll be a little briefer on the other elements Mrs. Gandhi pointed out. Secularism is probably self-evident. This was a man without a prejudiced bone in his body. And it was quite remarkable that it's partly from his very upbringing. He had a Muslim munshi in the house whom he looked to with great deference and respect. His closest friends included, in fact, perhaps for some years, his absolutely closest friend, the man with whom he exchanged some remarkable letters and some very intimate, revealing personal letters, Syed Mahmud, was a Muslim. In fact, in one of those letters, he says he doesn't like his name. He says, Jawahar is bad enough, but the addition of Lal makes it odious. So, and this is something he confided into with his friend Syed Mahmud. And he was also not particularly religious. I think we have to accept the fact that the wellsprings of Nehruvian secularism did lie in agnosticism. It was not that he disrespected religion, but that he had no time for the professed leaders of it. He has letters, one of which I've quoted in the book, where he says, I have no patience for mullahs and maulvis and sadhus and sants. They don't have all the answers to the problems of the nation. And that is an interesting thing, because while that was very much his personal proclivity, he never imposed that on a nation which was obviously very deeply steeped in religion.